Hi, this is Felicia from His Daughter, and today we are getting ready for one of our classes. We have probably throughout the year, we probably have 8 to 10 classes here at the shop. I do some, but some of our vendors do some fun things too. So today I'm preparing for our medicinal or wildcrafting herbs and weeds. So we are going to go around my yard, look at some plant material, then we're going to come back and make a salve. So I am measuring out the ingredients needed to make that salve. So right now we're going to be adding the coconut oil, and we need to get 6 ounces of that. These close. Okay, we got that. And then the next thing we're going to do is the shea butter, and I have that in here. And on our soaps we use regular coconut oil, but in all our salves and other items where we're small batching it, we use organic coconut. So we get that at Costco. I'm going to use that. Okay, now I'm going to be Shea's going to give, it has such amazing healing properties, and it's very moisturizing, and it's great in salves. So we are going to be adding 6 ounces of that as well. Now we are going to measure out our beeswax. When I first started, I used to get my beeswax from a local beekeeper, but now we use so much of it, we buy it. And it's little tiny pellets of beeswax, but it adds the hardness and it adds the healing too to our salve. So we're going to measure out 6 ounces. Okay, so we're all set, and then we'll add the other oils at the time of preparation. So we just get all our hard oils set and measured ahead of time. Our room looks like when we're setting up for our class with chairs out. Sometimes I'm demonstrating behind. We're putting stuff in the microwave. But right now for tonight's class, we have our charts that we're going to go over in my yard, and so they could take notes. We try to have everything pretty organized so that they could pay attention to what I'm talking about and not going too crazy trying to write info down. We try to have them with sufficient information and knowledge. So we do that, so they'll take that. I always try to have what books I use. I try not to look online too much. I try to look at regular books, or if I'm doing an essential oil class, I have probably 7 or 8 of books I refer to. So I do that. I have my notes ready that I'm going to be sharing with the class too. And I also try to get all my supplies, as you saw earlier, together in order, and so that we're ready to teach the class, and also once we're prepared, we can field questions and greet everybody. We really love having these classes because I think I learn as much as they're learning too. We're sharing information, and we're really learning about things that bring interest to everybody. Okay, so today we are going to be picking some nasturtium blossoms, and we're going to be filling them with a mixture of cream cheese and feta, cherries, and also in this basil and peaches. I think I put in there too. But we also put in nasturtium leaves. I'm going to show you. See, they're wonderful, but they're like a peppery, spicy, wonderful leaf. You eat them, they're great. I love them. So they're just so good. It's like a hint of a mild radish, but in a leaf form, right? So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be picking some nasturtium blossoms and filling them with that mixture, and you'll be seeing that too. But we pick them right now, and we're going to let them hang out in cold water. I know a lot of people's nasturtiums they can get a lot of aphids on them, but I have, every year, I have a big family of praying mantises. And I really don't have problems with nasturtiums, because when you have praying mantises that love aphids, your nasturtiums are great. So I'm going to be picking them, and I'm going to leave a little bit of the stem on, you can see. And we're going to be picking them, and we're going to put them in cold water, and we're going to be filling them after they soak, maybe about 40 minutes in cold water. Okay, so our bowl is somewhat full, and we got some leaves that we're going to fill, and we'll show you back at the shop what we're going to do. We're having a class tonight with at least 10 people coming. So we like to serve snacks and different things you can use around your yard to eat and to enjoy.
Hi, this is Beth from his daughter. Right now I am making stuffed nasturtium flowers for our Wildcrafting and herb participants tonight. They are going to come to our class, and this is going to be a little snack for them afterwards. So I'm going to just snip the stem here so that we can lay the flowers on the table, or on our little platter here. And my filling, which Felicia actually made, for the nasturtiums is a combination of feta cheese, ricotta cheese, salt and pepper, of course, some basil leaves, nasturtium leaves, and then there's peaches and cherries in here as well. So I'm sprinkling little nuts on top. This is not the neatest thing to do. I'm going to snip the stem so that they lay pretty on the platter. And then we will be serving those tonight after our class. Hi, it's Beth again, and I'm getting ready to stuff some nasturtium leaves. Look at these big, beautiful leaves. They're just pretty by themselves. Flower leaf, very cool. Both are edible, both taste peppery, real spicy peppery, it's fun. I'm just trimming the stem down low, and then we are going to use some of that same filling that we did for the nasturtium flowers. And roll up a few leaves. So I'm just going to put a strip down the middle of each leaf. Sometimes I get a little piece of the cheese coming out there, which made that one a little heavy. And then I'm just going to take it and roll it up. And we're going to lay them on our tray here in just a minute. And then we will have some samples for the participants for our class to try tonight.
So the cake too, I tried to make a couple of things, but we made this almond cake made with almond paste and eggs and very little flour actually. I think it's just 3/4 cup of flour, so it's a pretty dense cake. But what we do is I put it in a springform pan, and this, on the bottom of the pan, I put our rose geranium leaves into it, so it's going to impart that whole flavor of the rose geranium leaves into the cake. It's going to be awesome. You can eat it, they're edible, and they really make a unique cake. Okay, so in the spring, does anybody get violets in their yard? Yes, we all get them, right? So I have, these are so pretty. They're white with purple speckles on them, and so the leaves remain, all year long. But of course, you see these wonderful violet leaves. So it has flavonoids in it. That's the main thing about it. It acts as a diuretic to lower elevated blood pressure. And naturally, it's wonderful that it helps, but you still should consult a physician, okay, as we go forward and say things. Because a lot of stuff I do use and it works out excellent. So it has alkaloids, so it causes the blood vessels to relax, thus lowering your pressure. But and it helps bring up, if you're congested, bring up phlegm. So you would get the leaves and just make a tea. Just always get fresh plant material, put it in hot water, put some honey, and that's the fastest way of using the properties in it. Marigold or calendula is so incredibly wonderful because It's good for minor skin irritations. It's good for wound care. It's good for like facial topical applications. It's absolutely wonderful, and I have rows of it. I'm hoping the cats don't get to it, and it will grow. But we dry it out and we put it in our soaps. We put it in. We use probably.
We put in our lotions.
Yeah, we put in all our lotions, and we put. And we'll talk about chamomile. I do have a little volunteer over there. It's absolutely wonderful. Yeah, we put it in a lot of our products at the shop because it's so incredibly good for your skin. So it's black walnuts, and that's the first thing on the sheet. So it's so good for your teeth and gums. You get the black hulls, the hull surrounds that nut, and you get a couple good pieces, and you break it up, right? And then you put it. You can make a mouthwash if you're having gum problems or teeth problems, and you can basically put a little bit, gargle with it, and then you could spit it out too. I think if you swallowed it wouldn't hurt you, but too much of it can harm you. So don't do longer than 6 weeks at a time. But so you get nice dry black husks, and this is the tree right here. And I think there's 2 of them. Oh yeah, there's one behind it. Yeah. And you break into pieces, and you fill the jar with half of it vodka, half of it distilled water. You cover the jar and store in a cool, dark area for 4 weeks. Shake occasionally, strain and bottle, and use for dental conditions. And also about plantain, so it's anti-inflammatory, but it promotes healing of wounds and cell regeneration. So it's that melatonin again. That's wonderful. Some of the things I don't have lavender. It balances the body. It works where it is needed. So it's an adaptogen. It goes into your body, or you put it on topically, and it knows what is your body. It senses where it's needed. So it's very calming for the skin, anti-inflammatory, antiseptic. We're going to in fact make a lavender salve today. Regenerative. It's healing. It soothes minor skin abrasions. That's right. But they were the first thing that like the pioneers would have, they'd eat. It's the first green thing, but you want to eat it before it blossoms, because then it turns bitter. But it's such a wonderful winter, I call it the winter tonic or spring tonic, because the leaves are so good for your livers. So I said, God designed it that way. He really did. Because it's like the first thing that turns green. Of course, I never spray my lawn because, all the little animals, but dandelions are very, very good to eat before they blossom. So you could dry these and make a healing oil, because we put that oil. We don't make the chamomile oil like we used to in the beginning. We buy it, but we put in all our lotions and other topical stuff. It's very calming for the skin. But it's, I don't know if you guys remember Beatrix Potter, Peter Rabbit had a tea, chamomile tea. It makes you very relaxed. It makes you sleepy, and it calms your skin, and it just calms you. So it's wonderful. I said even newborn infants, if they're fussy, if you can get like a little bit of chamomile in water, it will calm their tummies. But this is chickweed. It's very, very healing. It dissolves plaques and arteries, so that's wonderful. So it helps with weight loss. Obviously, I don't use it.
And that grows wild?
Yeah, it reduces inflammation. It's very cooling. It's healing. It heals tissues. It helps cellulitis. It helps with abscesses and bee stings. So that's part of our salve we're making today, this chickweed. Begin making a salve. There's a few things on here that I haven't talked about, but that we could add to the salve or your salve once you make it. Charcoal. So charcoal is so good for you. It's a drawing. It draws out toxins from your body. 1 teaspoon has the surface area of a football field. but things don't absorb to it. It adsorbs with a D, not a B. So things bind to it, and then it leaves you inertly. But that thing's... Oh, yes, it's awesome as a teeth whitener. Yeah, so, yeah, you just put a little bit on your toothbrush and brush away, or charcoal toothpaste. Yes, absolutely great. No, it really doesn't, but... Yeah,
So it's just a powder.
Yeah, it's just a powder. But we're making these salves, you can add that to the salve. And also, too, is the bentonite clay is very, very good. So it wants to complete its orbit, its molecular cellular orbit. So it's drawing toxins out of your body too, right? They make a clay, or even when you make face masks or anything, that bentonite clay draws toxins out. So it's an awesome addition to the salves. And the last thing, which we don't have, that I do want to talk about, when you make salves, you can add cayenne pepper. You don't want to burn your skin. But what cayenne pepper does, so you don't want to touch your eyes, you want to watch, you just add maybe a little bit. To the recipe, I'd start with a 1/4 teaspoon or a 1/2 teaspoon. But cayenne pepper draws circulation. It brings heat, it brings blood. When you increase the circulation, you're bringing healing, because you're increasing the blood flow to that wound, to that part of the body that needs healing. So cayenne pepper is awesome. It's good for muscle soreness, pain, inflammation. So as you have a very basic recipe, and you can then go from there. Okay, there's so many things that you can add to it. And before we do our oils, we are going to start melting in a double boiler. Do you want to get that ready? Or bring out the top part and maybe boil the thing. So in the recipe, I tripled it, so make sure everybody gets one. I'm not quite sure, I can't remember anymore how many this makes. But, so when we're going to talk about the ingredients. The organic coconut oil is very healing, so we always use that. We're going to have calendula oil too, but this is going to be, instead of calendula oil, this is my hillbilly oil. I have, and I did this about a month ago. I put calendula in there, lavender, burdock, I put comfrey, I put chickweed. I put whatever we talked about that I had today, completely dried. I put it in the jar with olive oil. And then we have cheesecloth, we're gonna strain it, and that is gonna be our 3 ounces of calendula oil. So, but we're tripling it, so we're gonna do 9 ounces. We might not get 9 ounces, and then we just add olive oil to make it up. So, but any beekeepers, right? We have. Do you have your own honey or no?
We have.
Okay, but if you have like the beeswax, you can get it. Oh, you do? Yeah. And when I first opened the shop, my friend was a beekeeper, but it got too cumbersome for as much as we use. It's just easier to get it in the little pellets. So, so we have the beeswax. We have the coconut oil is very healing on its own, organic coconut. We use, in my soap, I use so much coconut oil, I don't use organic, because that would definitely make me have to increase the price. In all our topical stuff, we use organic coconut oil. I just think it's so much nicer than I get it at Costco. So, yeah, I'll just, see? And then we have shea butter. It's a nut butter, but it adds hardness and it's very healing. So we are gonna melt those right now. And then when they're melted, then we will add our oils. But while that is melting, we're gonna get the cheesecloth and make our own oil. Here, anything that's hard at room temperature, and I don't do it in a microwave. I like it because oils are very molecularly. You don't want to like really heat them up quickly. You want to do like a slow. That's why I love double boilers. I do everything sort of small batch, old fashioned. I could probably do it faster, but I think the microwave heats up very inconsistently. Okay, so we're gonna get our cheesecloth. It's just whatever you get at Walmart or whatever, and we are gonna deal with this oil that is a mess. Thank you. And you could do this even the night before. am gonna do. And no, so I really do not care. I'm gonna open this. I'm gonna open it up. I don't care if plant material gets in our salve. Do you? I don't. So
Extra benefits.
yes. But maybe I'm trying to think. Let's see. And usually when I do this, I I tape it with like shipping tape, you know. But now I'm just gonna slowly pour it. Yeah. You can, and I'll do it too. So yeah, in there you see the lavender. I just shoved in there dry calendula that I grew. I put comfrey in there. I put burdock root. I put chickweed, plantain.
It doesn't matter how much.
No, I just shoved it in. So
How long did it sit in there?
about a month in the sunny window. So it was hot.
We took it out of the window today, and the lid was actually hot. The metal lid. It was cool.
Okay, I think we're good. We're just gonna hold it up and squeeze it. See, yeah. So and then we'll just. I'm gonna get the garbage while you're doing making Beth. Yeah. And rosemary is a natural preservative. So that's why I always try to put a little bit in my salves. So you don't have to, so it will help you last longer. The only thing is, you see those little white dots in like salves after they get like 6 months? It's just from heating up that shea butter. Shea butter gets funky. It gets like grainy. But there's an alternative. There's more refined shea butter that won't, that graininess won't happen, but I don't like it because I'm trying to use things in its purest form. So I try not to use refined too much. Oh, so we're heating the oil slowly, and then we will add, since I tripled it, I'm still gonna add 2 of rosemary. I add a little extra. And then 2 of lavender. And thank you, so it's an all-purpose salve. That will be very good. But you, like I said, you can add, at that point when you're adding the oils, you can really whisk if you want to add any charcoal, and it would definitely look black because you're going to have it. Bentonite clay, not so much, but that cayenne pepper, if you have a lot of pain and inflammation, it's great, but if you go too high, it could give you a rash from the heat being too high. So you sort of have to find your whatever works best for you. And the scale, tear it to 0.
Our class participants is going to leave with a bag, and in this bag is going to be their salve, as well as one of our pamphlets, a customer love punch card, a 10% off for future visits card, and a personal business card.